Hi, and welcome to the iPhone Life podcast. I'm Donna Cleveland, editor-in-chief at iPhone Life.
And I'm David Averbach, CEO and publisher.
Sorry we missed a week last week. I just wanted to let you all know I was in Mexico, and now I'm back. So we're a little bit off of our usual bi-weekly schedule, but we're excited to get back on our schedule and share a great episode with you today. David, you want to start us out with our sponsor?
Yeah, I do. Today's sponsor is GoBuddy, and GoBuddy has this really cool new product. So if you've been a long-time listener, you know GoBuddy's been a sponsor for a really long time, and they have a wide range of really practical, useful, affordable products. They usually sell them through Amazon, and they have a new product out, and so I'm excited to tell you about it. And it is a lanyard. And so how it works is it works with a pop socket. And so you wear this across your body and you can connect your phone to it. And so it's a nice way to securely and easily carry your phone if you don't have pockets, if you're hiking, if you're doing something where you want to have your phone be safe and secure, but also you don't want either the bulk of your pocket or you want it to be a little bit more readily available to you than in your pocket. So it's really affordable. If you go check it out on Amazon, we'll link to it in the show notes at iPhoneLife.com/podcast.
That would have been very convenient on my trip. I feel like hiking especially, it seems like it's a great way to have it on your body so you can pick it up and take photos really easily without losing your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next up we have our daily tip. If you may already be subscribed to this, but we have a free daily newsletter called iPhone Life Tip of the Day. And we send you a 1-minute tip that teaches you something cool you can do with your iPhone every day, like the name of it suggests. So I wanted to share our latest favorite tip, and that was how to bookmark a page in the Safari app on your iPhone or iPad. And I chose this one because I use the Safari app on my computer a lot, and I use bookmarks there all the time, but I actually didn't know how to do this on my iPhone, and so I hadn't really been bookmarking pages until I read this tip. Do you use bookmarks often, David?
I do, and I actually sort of have a separate side tip for this because I use bookmarks a lot. I find that I often use bookmarks, like I'll bookmark things on my computer and then I'll want to access them on my phone. So having those bookmarks swapped, I find to be really useful. Like as an example, we have a few Zoom links that we regularly access when we have regular meetings. And so those I have bookmarked everywhere so I can access it from my phone and my computer. But I will give some bonus tips on that after we give the tip of how to do the basic bookmarks. Are you a bookmarker?
Yeah. So I think I will be more after looking over this tip because being able to bookmark on both your mobile devices and on your computer, I think will make it a lot more useful. This is a related feature on Safari, but I use favorites all the time. And that allows, like, whenever you open up a new tab in Safari, you'll see all of your most frequently, or like whatever links that you've favorited. And so that's how I get to things like all of the Google Docs and spreadsheets and, Zoom links that I want there. But now that I see you can create different like bookmark folders and things like that, I think I'll be using that more. But just for people who don't use bookmarks, the intention of the feature is just to have an easy way to access links that you're using regularly, like David said. So the way you use this tip is if you open up the Safari app on your iPhone or iPad and you navigate to a web page that you want to bookmark, then you just go and you press and hold there's a little book icon at the bottom of your display on the menu there. So you have to like press and hold it. And then a little menu will pop up that says add bookmark. So you'll do that. You also can tap the share icon and you'll have an option to add a bookmark from there as well. So it's up to you, but this is a bit of a faster way. So once you tap add bookmark, you'll choose where you save it to. If you have different folder options, then you can save it to a specific folder. Otherwise, it will by default save it to your favorites. And favorites, again, is something that like anytime you open up a new tab in Safari, you'll see little icons for all of your favorited sites there.
And I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because I don't know if you are clear on this. I'm a little bit unclear on the difference between a favorite and a bookmark. Do you understand the difference?
So I think that bookmarks automatically go to your favorites unless you've set up other bookmark folders. So
Okay.
that's sort of the difference. Like if you, and I know, and it is a little bit confusing the way Apple has set it up. For a long time, I couldn't figure out how to add things to my favorites when I wanted them there. But at least on your Mac, it's a little bit different. But at least from your iPhone, if you don't have any other folders set up in bookmarks, it'll just automatically save it to your favorites. So there is no difference.
Okay.
But if you've created different bookmark folders, like say you want to have your bookmarks for work and you want to have your bookmarks for a side project or something like that, you might create different folders for them and save them there. And so then when you tap add bookmark in that situation, then you'll choose which folder to put it to. So you can choose favorites or something else.
So just to clarify, favorites is a type of bookmark.
Favorites is like the default bookmark folder.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. And I actually do folders for my bookmarks. So I am one of those people where I have this exact setup. I have my work bookmarks, I have my personal bookmarks, and then I have my favorites, which are all work bookmarks, but they're the ones I use like every single day. So I have that set up, and I have it set up across my Safari and both my desktop and my phone. So let me give a quick how to do that.
Syncing of it, I was going to say, like, that's happening for me, but I don't remember ever setting that up. So please explain.
Okay, I think by default it's turned on. So I think it's probably for most people, but I had accidentally turned it off. What you need to do is you need to make sure that you go into iCloud and that you have iCloud's Safari turned on for iCloud. I had turned it off at some point thinking it was unnecessary, but what it does is it syncs up all of your bookmarks so that you can have your desktop bookmarks on your computer and vice versa, or on mobile and your mobile bookmarks on your computer, so that they're all synced up. And so it's a really convenient thing. Also, on desktop now, Safari, the newest feature, this is what you were just talking about, on the kind of the default screen, it has all of your favorites, and it has recently accessed, so you can see pages you were looking at on your phone. It has those on your computer, so it's easy to get to them. So they just added this with the latest operating system, and I think it's a really nice feature. But I do want to give one final bonus tip, which is you can customize this screen on Safari on your computer. So on the bottom right corner, you have a little it kind of looks like slider gear things. So you open up Safari, you open up a new tab, so it'll be your start page is what it's called. And then on the bottom right corner, it gives you the options of what will show up and what will not show up. So for example, I have added a photo of me and my wife. And so every time I open up a new tab, I see a pretty photo of me and my wife. Also, I don't use the reading list, so I got rid of that as an option that shows up. And also some people, depending on your browsing habits, you may have stuff you browse at work and stuff you browse at home, and you don't want the stuff you browse at home to show up at work and vice versa. So this gives you some controls over what shows up where. I find I'm sharing my screen a lot at work, so I pay special attention to what is showing up where. But I think, we've sort of gone into the weeds of Safari power usage here. But I think this area of cross-syncing between desktop and mobile and using Safari to kind of bridge those gaps is a really powerful area to pay some attention to.
I know. As you're talking about this, David, I just changed my Safari start page background image to something much more appealing. So thank you for that tip.
What is it?
It's still one of Apple's defaults. Like if you hit the little plus icon there, like next to the backgrounds, you'll have a bunch of different options from Apple. So I didn't go ahead and choose one of my own photos yet, but it's still nice to switch it up. Apple has some pretty kind of like illustrations and stuff like that.
It's honestly, I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because I end up looking at that screen like 100 times a day, because I'm always on Safari for work. I'm always opening a new tab, and before I enter the URL, it loads the start page, and like the default's just gray. And so just having a fun photo, it like a little thing, but I like it. It makes it my day a little bit better.
Yeah, I like the Safari start page too. Like for people listening, I hope that everyone does create their own favorites and stuff too, because I use it every day to get to the links I need to get to. It's really convenient.
Yeah, and it's same with taking the time to customize your bookmarks. Pages you visit every day, having them easily accessible is really worth it.
It's very, totally.
And even another little tip I have is, even within a website, thinking through which page you're bookmarking. So for example, I'll give you an example for insiders. If you, like, the default website you go to is insider.iphonelife.com, and then on the top right corner you click login. But you could bookmark the login page, which is the next step. And it just saves you one little thing each day. So little things like that of like which page within a website you're bookmarking saves you time.
Yeah, it goes a long way. All right, next up, I want to talk to you about iPhone Life Insider. David just mentioned it. But this is our premium subscription for people who really want to master their Apple devices. And so we have video guides for you on all of the new features and devices as they come out. That's like step-by-step video tutorials accompanied by a downloadable PDF. So you can be on your device and watch along and also have a written reference, which makes it really easy to learn. We have quarterly online live courses where you have a live instructor leading you through a new feature or a product, and you can ask your questions live, and we have weekly assignments. It's just a great format that helps keep you on track and accountable. We also have daily video tips. So it's a video version of our daily tip, just a 1-minute video teaching you something cool you can do with your iPhone every day. We also have Ask an Expert, which is a feature where if you're having a tech issue, you can contact us and get a guaranteed answer, and we help you find solutions. And you get an ad-free version of this podcast with bonus content from me and David. So there's a lot of amazing content with Insider, plus a digital subscription to iPhone Life magazine, including our full archive of over 30 past issues. So if you go to iPhonelife.com/podcast discount, we have a special deal just for you. I believe is it $10 off, $5 off, David? I'm forgetting.
It's 10% off.
10% off. There we go. So it's a special discount just for our podcast listeners. Go to iPhonelife.com/podcast discount to sign up right now. And we just came out with a new video guide on the iPhone Pro camera. So that includes tips on how to use the Pro RAW format if you have the 12 Pro or Pro Max. It also has portrait mode and night mode tips for anyone else with a Pro camera, plus photo editing tips for anyone with an iPhone at all. So iPhonelife.com/podcast discount if you want to get in on all of those great things. And I wanted to share an insider question with you all. I actually have two. They're kind of short ones, so I thought I would do two today. But our insiders, as I mentioned, they use Ask an Expert to ask their questions to us, and we give them solutions. So here are some ones that I thought our listeners might find useful. Here we go. The first one: is there a simple way to add text to a photo? And this is an easy one to answer. Thanks for reaching out. If you would like to add text to a photo, you can use markup. So when you open the Photos app, go to the photo that you want to add text to, tap Edit, and then there's 3 dots in the top right corner. You'll tap that, then tap Markup. And from there, there's a few tools that you can add arrows, for instance, to your photo. You can add the little text icon, and you can type in text and change the color of it. And you use your fingers to move it around and change the size of it on the display. And that's it. And so from there, once you tap Save, you'll have a marked up version of that image that you can then share with whoever you want. David, do you use markup often?
I use it a lot. I use it more, less for text and more for drawing. What I find, where I end up using it the most is, we kind of talked about this recently with screenshots, where if I'll take a screenshot of something, but I want to point out something particular on that page, I will then like draw little arrows in red and circle the area. It happens, I don't know why it happens to me so much that I'm trying to like circle things on screenshots, but I am, and I use it a lot. How about you?
It's usually like screenshots of something like that you're like making fun of. A lot of times, like, I was gonna say that's like for me usually, at least screenshots that get sent to me. It's either of a conversation or something on social media and pointing out what was funny about it.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I do that. I also do it for work a lot, though. Like, I'll be like, this thing isn't working on the website. Here's a screenshot of what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. No, that's much more professional use for it. But, you know, I feel like one thing that I've used markup for that's been useful is adding signatures to things.
Yes, and I was just going to say that's a really useful thing as well, is to add signatures from mobile. Sometimes I'll literally deliberately open up an email on mobile just because it's really quick and easy to add a signature to it.
Yeah, and so a little tip with that is that you only need to enter in your signature once, and then it's saved through markup, so you can go back in and just add it to things. So if you wanted your signature to look particularly good, you could go to your iPad on the same, if you have an iPad, if it's a device that's logged in with your same Apple ID, and you could create your signature using an Apple Pencil if you have one. And so presumably it'll be a nicer looking signature, and then that'll be saved to your iPhone too, and you can use that through markup, which is nice.
One other, I've been on a Mac tip kick this podcast, but we are officially covering Mac now as well. You can add signatures. I want all the Mac tips. You can add signatures in Preview. And it's really cool because how it works is you take a piece of paper, you put your actual signature, and you hold it up to the camera, and it loads it in, and it saves it for you in Preview, and it's really quick and easy to then go and add signatures to documents within Preview. Preview's the built-in Apple app on desktop that allows you to view photos and PDFs. So it's usually something you would do on a PDF.
Cool. So we have another insider question I wanted to share. And this one was about the iPhone camera guide that we recently came out with. So this insider wrote in, I'm learning with the iPhone Pro camera guide. I took a picture with a black background using portrait mode, and I don't know what light settings I used, and I can't do it again, and I can't figure it out. Any idea of how to get a black background in portrait? This was a photo in color. So the answer to this question is that this insider inadvertently used one of the lighting modes in portrait mode and just didn't realize it. So you can easily replicate this effect, since it sounds like this insider liked the way that it looked, and it's stage lighting is the setting that they used. So if you go into the camera app, and you can apply this before or after you take a portrait photo, which is really cool. So if you open the camera app and you go to portrait mode, you'll see in the top right corner, there's your little F icon, and that's where you go. If you tap that, you can go and like adjust the level of depth of field effect you have, which means you can choose your subject, of course, and then you'll choose how much is blurred behind the subject. And like that's really nice, for instance, to adjust manually if the person has like wispy hair or something like that. You can make sure that it's not completely blurring out the hair in a way that doesn't look good. So once you're there, though, above where you adjust the depth of field, you can also adjust the lighting modes. By default, it'll be in natural lighting, so pretty much just like looking the way it actually looks when you're shooting. And then from there, you can swipe right and left and go into a few different cool effects. Like there's stage lighting, stage light mono, and some of these ones will pretty much either just completely turn the background white or black. I personally like more like natural looking photos, so I haven't done this a lot myself, but it's good to know that this feature is there and it's fun to play with.
Yeah, I was just going to comment. I was going to ask you if you use it. And it's funny to me, too, that your comment was for wispy hair, because I have curly hair, which for portrait mode in general is a nightmare. And in particular, the portrait mode settings that turn the background a different color, like white or black, just really I struggle with because it like just never perfectly gets my hair, and so it just like weirdly cropped parts of my head are just blending with the background in black. So I almost never use it. If you, on rare occasion that it works perfectly, it's a really cool effect. It just so frequently doesn't work for me that I find I don't use it enough. But I just, to reemphasize, because you did say it, but you went over it pretty quickly, for those of you with curly hair, or I guess wispy hair, and if you are using portrait mode but you're having trouble because your hair keeps getting cropped, if you go in after you take the photo and you hit edit, you can adjust the aperture. And that you can, how that works is it just makes the portrait mode a little bit less intense, and so therefore it'll, a lot of times for me, not crop out my hair.
Yeah, but with the ability to adjust it, you've been able to get around that. Like, it looks good now?
Yes, but more on natural mode. I almost never,
right.
It just has to be so perfectly distinguishing between your background and your foreground if you actually change the color of the background that I almost never do it because it just rarely works. Also, I just don't tend to love the effect, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but I thought that was a fun, like, at first when I heard the question, I'd forgotten about these effects. So I'm like, how did this person get a black background? But so I thought that was a good one to share.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing I wanted to clarify is I said that you can adjust your portrait light settings either in capture mode or after the fact. You can only add it after the fact if it was shot in portrait mode, though.
Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that. So if you're in like regular photo mode, you can't turn it into a portrait photo afterwards. But if it was shot in portrait mode, you can adjust those settings after the fact, which is nice. So I think like that's nice because a lot of times you want to quickly capture a photo. You might not want to be like tinkering with the editing, with the aperture at the time, but you can do that later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So that wraps up our Ask an Expert section of this podcast. And I am excited to share an app with all of you today. So for our apps and gear section, I have an app today. What about you?
I have an app and a gear, but I'm seeing in our notes here we have a comment from our listener.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, so this was one I wanted to basically call out myself here because Randy wrote in and was concerned about an editor's message I wrote in the Daily Tip. And in it, I was talking about our new AirPods guide and how great it was and how I love my AirPods and how my husband and I go on bike rides and sync our AirPods to the same iPhone so we can listen to music together. So he responded to me here. He says, first of all, I've been an iPhone lifer for about a year and want you and your staff to know that I use and enjoy all aspects of iPhone life. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
I typically ignore tips and articles dealing with AirPods or earbuds. They simply will not stay in my ears. He likes his Bose noise canceling headphones instead. That was an interesting one to hear just because that's kind of a first that I've heard of that. Because the people that I know that have AirPods, comfort and like their kind of strange ability to stay in your ears is pretty great. But again, like with headphones, everyone has to try themselves. Everyone has really different, first of all, shapes of their ears and head, and also like things that are comfortable for them.
Yeah.
So I always tell people definitely try on headphones yourself or earbuds before buying. But so anyway, he says, however, a tip caught my eye this morning about AirPods. In the introduction, you said that you and your husband sync your phones and when you're riding your bike together. I am an avid, although recreational cyclist, and wanted to make sure you're aware that wearing any kind of earbuds while cycling is a big no-no. The reason is that it prevents one from hearing road noise and traffic. I don't mean any disrespect. It's intended as purely informational. Thanks for all you do, Randy. So I just wanted to point that out just because I hope I'm not encouraging people to go biking with earbuds in. It definitely, if you're on the street, could be dangerous. And, you know, the AirPods do have a transparency mode option, which lets you hear street noise through. So that can help, or you could be wearing like one AirPod and that helps a little bit too. But I think it was a good point just to mention that probably better better to not wear any at all, or to make sure that you have that transparency mode on at the least.
But I mean, and yeah, absolutely, traffic safety is important. It is a cool feature though, and there are lots of use cases that are not dangerous. That's something that I'll often do, like while traveling. My partner and I will watch a movie or something like that, and you can have two headphones on the same device. And so there are really cool features for that. And transparency mode's a good one, because I do like to... Now I'm going to admit it too. I like to run with headphones, and I'm very safe. I promise I do my best. But transparency mode's a good one, because this is one of the main reasons I like AirPods as opposed to AirPods Pro, is I actually really like having ambient noise be able to get in. Both because I like to work out with them, but also even like I'll wear them when I'm working throughout the day, things like that. And it's just really nice to be able to hear somebody even if I have headphones in. If I want to be canceling noise, I'll use my big headphones.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I think that that feature I will stand by is being cool. Like, just, I thought first you were talking about transparency mode, which is great too, but being able to sync two AirPods to the same iPhone is a lot of fun. And like, you could be cycling on an indoor bike, and then you can do it completely guilt-free.
As long as you're taking proper COVID precautions. No,
yeah,
let's not even go there.
Yes, true. All right, on to our apps and gear section. So I wanted to share an app just because I feel like roosters are plaguing my life, and I've finally found an app that's saving me. So I moved to Florida 4 months ago, and we have a next door neighbor with roosters that start crowing at like 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
And then when I was on vacation in Mexico, the place that we were staying was basically like, there was like a barnyard outside. It was like a million roosters and goats and dogs. That started at like 10:30 at night. So anyway, it became very clear that I needed a good white noise machine app. In Florida, we actually have like a little device for it. It's not through the iPhone. That works well. But I found an app that I like just as much, and I had to try a few. So I just wanted to recommend this one because it's the one that I found to be the best, and it's My Noise. And the cool thing about it is that it's a free app. Some of the other ones I found are paid, and it lets you customize your white noise levels, like both to just what you like, and also different, like depending on your iPhone model, the speakers sound a little different. And so it like has a bunch of different toggles for different levels of noise. I use the classic white noise, but there are other options like rain sounds or stuff like that. And it lets you set a timer. So I like to have it like fade out in the last hour of sleep. And so I set it for like 8 hours total, but the last hour it's like slowly fading out.
Oh, interesting.
Up until when my alarm goes off. And so they're just it has some nice features. And also, strangely, other apps that I use, even though they said they could go all night, would like randomly shut off after a half hour and things like that. And this one was reliably playing all night long. I feel like white noise machine apps, or just in general, are like not for everyone, but I used to not like them very much because I found them kind of distracting, but now I'm hooked. Have you ever tried white noise?
I have not. I'm a very light sleeper, and I find that white noise distracts me. Like, I don't even like having a fan on in my room, which I know is like, I'm extreme in that way. But I'm not a white noise person.
So this app, I was gonna say, I was sensing a lack of excitement from you.
I was like, my stepson uses white noise machine in his room, and so when we travel, then this would be great. So I appreciate that. I still love white noise people. I just am not one of them.
For me, I really don't like, one of the common white noise options is like wave sounds. And those to me, and maybe it's because we didn't grow up around the ocean, I don't find that to like help me sleep at all. It makes me feel like I'm like seasick or something. But rain noise or white noise help.
That's fair. Yeah, those Iowan thunderstorms.
Yeah.
I like when I'm sleeping by the ocean. I really enjoy it, but I find I often have dreams about the ocean. So Yeah, it can be distracting. Okay, I've got
All right, what's your apps and gear?
And I just want to preface this because we've steered clear of travel apps and gear because of COVID. But as between the frustratingly high percentage of people who have now had COVID and have immunity, and then vaccination rates are going up, we're going to start covering it a little bit for you all. And so I have a couple suggestions for travel again. And even if you're not ready to travel yet, it's still fun to be thinking about those days when you can do that again. One of them, my first one can be used at home as well. I've talked about it before, but it's one of those gadgets that I just don't think a lot of people have, and I love it, and it makes my life a lot better. And that's my MyCharge battery pack. The company's MyCharge, MY, and then charge. It's all one word. And I know there's a ton of battery packs on the market, but this one to me kind of checks all the boxes. And why I love it is, number one, it has both the adapter and the cable built in. So you can plug into the wall and it has the cable built in all in one unit. Most of these power banks do not have that. They either don't have a cable built in or they don't have the adapter built in, so then you're having to carry a bunch of things to use it. Number two, it rapid charges. So it's like half an hour to charge your phone. And in particular for a battery pack, that's really nice because you're almost always on the go. I find I actually use it at home a lot. I mean, I definitely use it while traveling, but I use it at home a lot because if I just need a little bit of battery before I leave the house, but I'm like walking the house and I need to use my phone at the same time, this is a really excellent solution for that. So I really like it. It also has a USB-C built in, so if you have an Android iPhone family, you can use that. My partner and I are always fighting over it, so that's a good sign for it being a useful device, and particularly nice for traveling. Sign. The other one, which is unique just for traveling, especially for overseas, but I think it's another one where a lot of people don't think to get this, but it's really useful. It's called Oanda currency conversion. So it's OANDA currency conversion. And there's a million currency conversion apps out there, but I've used this one for 10 years and it's never failed me. What's nice about it, it has a really easy to use interface. And it doesn't require internet. So once you get your currency conversions loaded up in there, it doesn't need internet to use. So when you're traveling in a foreign country and you're trying to on the fly negotiate something and it's in a currency you're not used to, being able to quickly pull it up on your phone and look at the conversion rate to your currency, US dollars or whatever it is, I find to be really useful. I've used it for years. So for those of you who are coming up going to do an international trip, that's a really awesome app for you, and it's free, I believe.
I was gonna say, yeah, I wish I knew about this app. That sounds great, because I'm so not good at fast calculations on the fly. I'm how much is that?
Yeah,
so something like this would be useful.
I always try to build little rules of thumb for myself, being 100 pesos is $5, and little things like that I can fall back on. But then it's if you're doing too many of those, you lose track, and it's nice to have an app to fall back on as well.
For sure. And offline mode is, if you're doing international travel, I feel like any app you're using, having offline mode is really important.
Yeah,
since
exactly.
You don't always reliably have service. Yeah, cool. We did not come up with a question of the week ahead of time, but I feel like we should. We could do one about portrait mode. I'm curious if people use the different portrait lighting options, and if so, which ones they like the best.
Yeah, and send us some examples, and we can put it up on our website.
Yeah, if you have some shots you're proud of, send them our way. So email us at podcasts@iphonelife.com, letting us know if you use portrait lighting options, and if so, which ones and why. And this wraps up our 154th episode of the iPhone Life podcast. We've been at this for a while. Stick around if you're an insider. We have some special content just for you. Otherwise, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.